YouTube, what is up guys? Happy Monday. I'm back with another video. For those of you who don't know, my name is Danny and I'm here at my local skate park today, and I'm going to teach you guys 5 tips and tricks on how to get better at grinds, or 5 tips to learning grinds quicker, something along those lines. But I love skating rails and ledges and all that, so I wanted to relay what I've learned throughout the years on how to be able to learn tricks a little bit quicker and how to take them from like a flat bar to like your skate park down rail. So as I was growing up skating, I was never really good at rails because I never went to skate parks, and then when I started going to skate parks, I never really knew how to skate them, so I had to kind of learn it basically by myself. So I really wanted to learn, so I started trying and like trying different things out. So I think that I have some good tips and tricks that will help you guys out if you're just learning how to skate rails, or if you want to learn how to skate rails better. So with all that being said, let's go freaking warm up and then let's start the tips. Guys, so for the sake of keeping this video simple, I'm going to talk mainly about 50-50 grinds. Most of these tips will help you with every other grind, but every other trick is different, so every other trick has like the different way that you get into it, the different way that you kind of pop out of it. So the reason that tip number 1 is to practice on like a stationary surface and like practicing on a ledge or a curb or something is so that you can learn how to pop onto that, so you can learn like what your mistakes are before you start going at it, so you don't eat shit. So if it's like a 50-50, you kind of just practice like getting on the 50-50. So practicing on a ledge like this or like a curb or something is really gonna help you, because your mind and your muscles are gonna memorize like what it is that you're doing for the trick. That way when you apply speed to it, your mind already is gonna know how to get into the trick. All right guys, so tip number 2 is going to be to stay parallel with the obstacle, whatever it is, the ledge, the rail. Stay parallel with it so that when you ollie, you get on it straight and you keep going straight. I see a lot of people trying grinds and they kind of go at too much of an angle and they never straighten out. So they pop and then they like overshoot it, or they don't even make it like up onto the ledge like all the way. If you're going parallel with the rail, you're going to ollie and you're gonna land on top of the rail like in a solid form. If you go too much at an angle and then try to turn it, you might not get the full board on the rail, or you might just overshoot it completely and slip out like that. And trust me, it's happened to me, and I've eaten shit like that, and I've seen plenty of people who just don't have the grind right and they like just end up dying also. So if you utilize tip number 1, which was to do it stationary on a ledge or on a curb or something, and then you utilize tip number 2, which is to when you're coming at the rail, to go parallel with it, then you're gonna get on a nice solid grind, whatever grind that may be, and you're gonna lock in well. So if you lock in well, you pretty much have the trick set. All right guys, so tip number 3 is going faster, going fast, because if you're going really slow for a grind, that's when things can really get bad, because if you miss it and you're not going fast enough, you're gonna fall right there. But if you're going fast, you kind of have like the ability to kind of kick it out or like run it off or something. This tip is definitely where grinds start to get scary. Speed is definitely like a big key factor in grinds and in like not dying on a grind, because a lot of people don't like to go that fast. They kind of like to do their tricks slowly so they can control them, but with grinds that's not the case. You'd never really want to go too slow unless it's like a giant ass rail. But if it's like a flat bar or a bench or something, you're gonna want to go fast, lock in right, and grind it out. So on that last one, I didn't lock in right, but since I was going at a moderate speed, I was able to kind of jump off of it without getting caught up and falling. All right guys, so tip number 4 is going to be learning how to pop out. It doesn't necessarily have to be like some crazy ollie out, but just like learning how to lift up and getting out of the grind itself. Because a lot of times if you're doing like a 50-50 on a rail or on a ledge or anything and you don't pop out, you kind of just like nosedive out, which 1 could potentially be pretty dangerous, and 2, it looks really ugly. So whether it's stationary, still practice, like when you're practicing your grind, still kind of practice how to ollie out of it, and then once you start going like a little bit faster towards the rail, just lift up like the back of your tail and kind of like get out of it. It doesn't have to be a huge pop out, but just like a chill kind of like ollie out, or like a chill like lift up, and you kind of just like ride it out. Ledges can be a little bit more forgiving. Like on that one, I didn't fully lock into a 50-50, but since I was on it solidly and I had my foot ready to pop out, I was able to still pop out of whatever that trick was. So staying on your grinds solid and being ready to like get out of them really helps you to be able to learn grinds quicker. I'm gonna show you guys what like a 5-0 looks like, because I don't really pop out of that trick when I do it on something like this. I kind of just like lift up and like push off of it. So I think that's a great example for like not really ollieing like out of a trick, but kind of just like getting out of it. So I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like. All right, tip number 5, guys, is gonna be probably the most important one after the speed. And it's gonna be to not hesitate at all. If you hesitate before the trick, I guarantee you 99% of the time you're going to fall and you're probably going to get hurt. Because if you hesitate and you kind of pop but like kind of half-ass it and not really do it, you're either going to hit the side of the ledge and not get the board all the way up, or you're just going to like nut the rail or the ledge or whatever it is that you do. You're just going to fall on top of it, which is never fun. And like that goes into every part of skateboarding. Hesitation is literally how you get hurt most of the time. If you're feeling comfortable and confident about your tricks, you're probably usually not gonna get hurt. I know from experience, from hesitating before trying a trick and hesitating when I'm getting out of the trick, that I've fallen and I've eaten shit. So I've learned to do my best to not hesitate. I know that sometimes you just get scared and you end up hesitating. If you practice all the tips that I just gave you before this one, you're gonna learn to feel confident and comfortable enough with your tricks to the point where you're not hesitating. And especially if it's learning like a 50-50 grind or whatever grind it is that you're trying, if you have like a solid lock on, you shouldn't really be hesitating because you know that you can get onto the trick. And guys, what's great about locking in new tricks and putting new tricks in your bag and being more comfortable with skateboarding is that you can start to do cooler things and you can start to do things that you might have dreamed of at one point. For me, it was being able to skate down a rail. Even something just like that, that rail's tiny, but I always wanted to be able to learn to do grinds down stuff. And at one point in my life, like I said before, I couldn't even skate a flat bar. Now doing a trick down a rail like this becomes extremely easy, but it also is extremely fun, and it opens the doors to so many opportunities when you go to new parks or when you skate street to hit rails and to have maybe a better time or to get clips or whatever it is that you want to do with skateboarding. But enough of me talking shit, because clearly I've been talking about learning how to do grinds. Let's see if I can do a 50-50 first try down this rail right here. First try, not cutting it, nothing. So guys, once you put everything together, it really does become that simple. I mean, that's just a 50-50, which is probably the most simplest of grinds, but all the tips apply to every grind pretty much. But the tips are usually the same. Practice stationary, go at a good angle, usually parallel, go at a moderate speed, practice popping out, and don't hesitate, because hesitation will kill you, man. I think that's probably the biggest tip. So that brings us to the end of the video, guys. I hope this video will help you guys to learn how to do grinds quicker, or how to 50-50, or whatever it is that you want to take away from this video. Let me know down below if you guys have any other suggestions for learning grinds or for learning any other types of tricks, or what other types of tips and tricks video you want me to do. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to do this outro real quick because the sun just went behind a cloud and it feels marvelous. But that is the end of the video, so if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a fat thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And if you are subscribed, make sure you turn those post notifications on so you're notified whenever I post a video. And I will see you guys on Friday for another video.